Start up the meeting. Great. Welcome to another open board meeting of Intentional Insights. And today is June 27th. And with me are some board members. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the president of the Board of Intentional Insights. So please, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Agnes Vishnevkin, and I'm vice president of the Board of Intentional Insights.
I'm Steve Monge. I'm the treasurer.
Bentley, would you introduce yourself, please? Bentley, are you there?
Bentley's still on break.
Okay.
Bentley's another board member, and
Yes.
he's in Dallas, outside Dallas, Texas, and we're all in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. So we'll
It's
come
not quite
back.
as hot.
Come back in just a bit. All right, everyone. So, great. Let's talk a little bit about what Intentional Insights has been up to for this past month. So we'll have that as the first part, and we'll have a little bit of Q&A on that topic. After that, we'll have a specific discussion about a specific topic, and then we'll have a Q&A on that topic. Great. Okay. So we've had pretty sizably busy month. So we've been working on our main work has been with the Pro-Truth Pledge, specifically focusing on getting politicians to take the Pro-Truth Pledge. So that has been a lot of what we've been doing outside. So we've been doing research on politicians and pitching politicians. That has been a major area of work for us, so focusing on that area. Now we'd like to do more signature gathering in person, but then unfortunately, we haven't had the sufficient volunteers to do nearly as much of that as we would like. We have only 3 areas around the country where people are doing that actively. So that's definitely a challenge for us to get more volunteers to do signature gathering, because that's what enables and it supports politicians to take the pledge if they see that a number of their constituents take the pledge. So that's a really important thing that we really need more volunteers for, but that's a big challenge. So been doing that. We've finished our contract with Base Public Relations, so we haven't been getting as much media. Been doing still some writing. I've been doing writing, and a recent piece was published in Medium's new journal, which is good trust issues. So that's something that happened, but we're getting less media for now because of that. A major thing that has been going on and that Bentley can talk about is website development. So we're going to do a really serious redesign of the website, and that will probably happen sometime in the next 3 to 6 months. And so that will be good. So that's a major big project which we're working on. Another thing, we got invited to give to the Youth Assembly Gala in New York, and so we have some volunteers who will
That is affiliated with the United Nations?
Yes, it's affiliated with the United Nations, so it's really nice to get that recognition, and we'll have some volunteers who will be gathering signatures there. I'll also be traveling to a conference in DC on fighting misinformation, and so I'll be talking to people networking there. So those have been a lot of what we've been doing. We've been trying to do fundraising. Fundraising is our biggest challenge, keeps being our biggest challenge. So right now, some of the board members are making loans to the organization because fundraising is such a big challenge, and we have major expenses associated with taking on more expenses because of the Pro-Truth Pledge. So it's a big challenge for us, fundraising. So fundraising and getting volunteers to go out and gather signatures. Those are big challenges. Let's see. I'm trying to recall if there's anything else that's major that's been happening recently. We've been working a little bit on merchandise. So we've been transferring some of our merchandise to Cafe Press, because otherwise our current merchandise provider doesn't ship into most international destinations, and we have a good Pro-Truth Pledge presence in Brazil, so we need to get merchandise, and Agnes has been working on that. Also, some luxury merchandise, we've been working on that. Jane
Jane, who's here.
has been working on that, so those have been some other areas of work. I'll pause now and see what kind of questions folks have on any of those questions, on any of those points, or anything else that you would like to raise relevant to our activities and pass on. You can ask questions by unmuting yourself, asking a question, or you can raise a question by chatting, putting it in a chat box. I want to highlight that Steve Munch, who's here, is not usually present at board meetings, but he's present on this one, and he's our treasurer, so he can specifically and in detail answer any questions about finances that you might be interested in. Ask questions now. Okay, doesn't seem that anyone has questions. I'll count down from 5 and see if anyone has specific questions that they might raise. And if not, then we'll move on to the next part. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we're changing a bit the plan that we're talking about because of some recent developments. We're planning to talk about how to get politicians to sign the Pro-Truth Pledge, but we had a recent development where there was a series of editorials in Texas newspapers that attacked the Pro-Truth Pledge and politicians who took the Pro-Truth Pledge. So I kind of wanted to bring that up for discussion instead and just have that as a topic of conversation, how to defend the Pro-Truth Pledge from similar attacks, how to use that to the benefit of the Pro-Truth Pledge. So having that as a point of discussion. For those who didn't see the editorial, which I sent around to the Intentional Insiders email list a while ago, I posted about it on Facebook and recently had a blog about it. So hopefully you saw it. But to summarize it, basically it was a series of editorials published in a number of Texas newspapers. Well, it was one editorial that was republished in a number of Texas newspapers. Basically attacked the Pro-Truth Pledge by saying that, well, politicians are all dishonest anyway, and so we know that politicians are dishonest, so why should they take the pledge if they should be honest? They should be honest. Well, why should they take a pledge to do something they should do anyway? But we know they're dishonest. It's a pretty incoherent and rambling editorial that really didn't make much sense. It's kind of like saying, well, we know that businesses should be ethical, but we know that businesses are completely unethical, so there's no need for a Better Business Bureau. Or, we know that journalists should be ethical, but journalists aren't ethical, so why should they sign the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics, which presumably the editorial writers sign. So yeah, it's pretty silly in a way, but the essence of it is that it shows that we are able to make a public impact, and that seems like why the editorial is attacking the Pro-Truth Pledge. So we know from studies that we've conducted that have been accepted in 2 academically reviewed journals that the Pro-Truth Pledge actually causes people to change their behaviors. They actually behave more honestly after they take the Pro-Truth Pledge on average. So that's great. We didn't know whether the Pro-Truth Pledge, we didn't have specific evidence of whether the Pro-Truth Pledge makes an impact in public discourse. Now that we know that some editorials are attacking truthful politicians, pro-truth politicians who took the Pro-Truth Pledge and the Pro-Truth Pledge itself, that gives us pretty clear evidence that the Pro-Truth Pledge is actually making a public impact and shaping the discourse, shaping the political landscape, because otherwise why attack it? So that's where we are right now. And yeah, just want to bring that up for discussion and see what thoughts people had about that and how to use that, how to defend against these attacks. So that's where we're at. Welcome thoughts and comments and questions.
Have you had a chance to discuss the editorial in any of your speaking engagements or interviews that you do? Has it come up, or have you brought it up, or any plans to do that?
So it's a good question. So we're talking about, hi Beth, just joined us. We're talking about the editorial that was recently published by a number of Texas newspapers attacking the pro-truth pledge and how to address that. So I haven't talked about it haven't really had a chance to talk about it in speaking engagements,
Okay.
but that's something that could be definitely brought up and shown as evidence of the impact of the pro-truth pledge, because it is clear evidence of impact. Jane asks, okay, this is our treasurer, Steve, so he's usually not present in these meetings.
Jane's like, who's this person?
Oh, yeah. If you have any treasurer type questions, just go ahead and ask.
Thank you for asking that question. Other questions, welcome.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
So I know that you've been working with a group called PACE Public Relations, and I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about that experience, positive or negative, or any outcomes that you wanted to mention.
Just for the future, that's a better question for the first part.
Okay. Sorry.
We're right now talking about the editorial, but
oh yeah. All right.
So in general, it was a useful experience. It would have been nice if they got us more media attention than they did. We got only one national media attention, one national TV interview. So it would have been really good if we got more. So I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get more. It seems like they did it. They worked on it. They put in the hours, the effort to get at things, but we didn't get as much payback as we would have liked from that.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, folks. Any other questions about the editorial, addressing it, managing things from that?
I guess I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
So how did any idea how the editorial writer learned about the pro-truth pledge? Or are we active in Texas in terms of volunteers or petition?
Yeah, we were sending out a news release to Texas newspapers about Beto O'Rourke and other Texas politicians. So we had Beto O'Rourke, who's an incumbent congressman in Texas, who took the pledge, and James Earl White, who's an incumbent state legislator, took the pledge. James Earl White is a Republican, Beto O'Rourke is a Democrat, and we sent out a news release because it seemed newsworthy to a number of newspapers. So that's likely how they learned about it. But yeah, that's kind of the detail. Mm-hmm. Cool. Thanks for asking. All right, I'll count down from 5 to see if there are any other last minute questions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, everyone. Well, thank you. This has been another open board meeting of Intentional Insights. Appreciate seeing everyone. Thanks for joining, and talk to everyone later. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.